Hi, in this session I'm going to show you how to create a 3-month moving average, and you can put it in a table like we have over here, and also how to create a chart from that table. In addition, you may not need all these columns here to make a similar chart. For example, this particular chart is only made from these two columns, and I'll show you how to do that if you didn't want to have a table with an extra column here to show the 3-month moving average. Let's go ahead and see how we do this. Let me go ahead and just get this data here. I'll just get this data here and do a Control C to copy, bring it onto another sheet, Control V to paste, and I'll just bring this column here. Control C copy, Control V paste. And in order to get the 3-month moving average, it is basically a average function. So we're going to start here in March because we want to get the previous 3 months. So what I'm going to do is type equal average, and you can see that it is found the average function for me amongst other functions. I can either press tab or click this with the mouse. I'm just going to press tab to complete it. And what I want to do is select the 3 months that I want the moving average. Close that with a parentheses and press Control Enter and stay within the cell. You can see now that it has averaged out those 3 months. See, if I select these cells and look at the bottom here, you can see the average is the same. So what I want to do is I want to double click this, and what happens when I double click it, you can see that the average, it's taking B2 to B4, but as we move down, it's going to take the next 3 months, B3 to B5, B3, B4, and B5. So that's what it does when you click down, when you don't have the dollar signs in front of the number and letter for the range. It's actually called a relative reference, not an absolute reference. An absolute reference has dollar signs in front of it, which means that when you copy it down, those don't change, those don't adjust accordingly. So what I'm going to do here, I don't want to have those extra decimals, so I'm just going to go ahead and reduce those decimals and just have it as a whole integer. Also, I'm going to go ahead and just ignore the errors on the formula because it's basically saying that we missed these other two and when we're copying it down. I'm also going to do some formatting here just to make it look nice. Go ahead and click those borders. And now, how do I chart this out? Basically, just go ahead and select it, or you can. Excel is actually pretty smart enough to know you've selected this table here, this range. So if I click in the table here, I can just go in Insert, and I'm going to insert a column. So I'm going to insert that column chart. You can see that it's picked out both of these series, the averages and also the sales amounts. And I'm going to make this a line chart. You can see that it selected both series of data as a column chart, but I want one of them to be a line chart. So I can click that, and I can either go right click and go change series type, or I can actually just go up here and click that icon, change chart type. I'll be down here and I'll select that, and I want to select the line chart here. So I'll click that and click OK. And now you can see that it's kind of made a nice line chart. Now the rest of it is just basically formatting that I've done to make it look like this. And so what I can do here is just start to adjust some of the formatting. Layout, I want to have that legend at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put that at the bottom. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit more. And I don't like these grid lines. I'm going to go ahead and press that and press delete. And those will disappear. And I want to have labels, like I had the labels down here and for the line chart. And also have the markers. So I'll show you how to do that. And that can be done. I'm going to go and click on any one of the column charts and right click and go select add data labels. So that's going to put it on the top by default, and I want it at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and click one of those data labels, right click and go under format data labels, and the label position, I'm going to have that at the inside base. And see, once I have it in the inside base, you can see it's there. Now I don't have to click close here if I want to adjust the other line chart. I can just click it here, and you can see that it selected it, and I want to have a marker for that. So I'm going to go ahead and click marker and have the diamond, and also maybe I want to make that line a little lighter. So all this is really basically now just kind of formatting. So I'm going to go and click the line style and make that line a little smaller, maybe 1 point. No, maybe 1.5 point would be okay. I'll go ahead and click close, and I wanted to have a label here, so I'm going to go and right click. It's already selected here, so I'm going to go ahead and right click and add a data label, and also now click that. Now all the data labels are selected. Right click and do format data labels and have that on the top. I want to have this above. All right. So if I want to go back and have this nice little beveled shape, I can go ahead and click here and go under layout, go under format, and under the shape styles, I'm just going to select this one where it has a nice bevel shaped. And now I want to make these a little bit more clearer. I can probably just increase this a little bit and then click on that so all the labels are selected. Right click, format data labels. So I want to have the fill. What we want to fill in there, have it a solid fill. Let's make that green. I think I had that green earlier. Yes. And then I'm going to go ahead and right click here and go ahead and select to have it bold and a white font face. And I can also go ahead and I can go ahead and change it to the bevel shape now. Now I changed that color, but I can actually change it back to that green here. So now I've got that, and maybe I want to make this a little bit darker font color. Go ahead and just click that, maybe bold it so it'll stand out a little bit more. And let's see if it looks the same here. Yeah, so it kind of looks more or less the same. And that's how we would do it. And if we wanted to put a label up here, we just click the chart and go under layout and have a chart title. We'll have it above the chart. And we can call it, and you can either double click here or just kind of go into the formula bar and type sales and 3-month moving average. So it puts it in there. Now let's say that we didn't want to, we didn't have this 3-month moving average. We really didn't care to have a column here to show that. We just had these two columns. You can still create this moving average without having this column available. So what you need to do is just basically select these two cells, or just select here and go under insert, and we're going to insert another column chart. I'm going to select the 2D column, and let me move it over here out of the way. And you can kind of move it over, scroll over here a little bit, move it over here, and I'm going to get rid of the grid lines. Press that and press delete. Now when I get in here, all I need to do is just select the column, right click, and what I want to do is add a trend line. So if I add a trend line, there's going to be this option for the trend line options, and we have a moving average selection. Just click that, and we want to do a 3-month moving average. And if we select that and click close, you can see it has created one for us. So that's another way to do it, to create a moving average trend line. If you really didn't care about having that particular column setting there, you can also create a trend line with just the 2 columns. Now if you wanted to have a little bit more flexibility, maybe there's times when you are adding month by month data for your sales, and you want to have a table that just kind of goes and updates every month, and you want to be able to chart your data but not have all the months show up, and basically let you have some kind of drop down filter where you can select it. Well, you can actually do that with a pivot table. So in this example, we have a table with rows that have running data from not only from January 2013, but some made up data for upcoming months, January 2014, February 2014, and our sales data and the 3-month moving averages. So in this example, let's say that we have all this data, but we want to keep this data in the table, but in terms of the charting, we want to have some flexibility to show us charting for different time periods. So in this example, we see we filter it for just July 2013 to June 2014. If we only wanted to show 6 months of data, maybe we want to start from July to December, we can actually select that. I can select it either in the pivot chart, this is a pivot chart, or the pivot table here. So if I select that, and I only want it July 2013 to December 2013, let me go ahead and just select that and just unselect it, and just go under and look at July, August, September, October, November, December. You can see that we only showed sales for that month, and it's showing the moving averages for that month. So this entails where you still need to create the moving average formula, and you'll just chart it out. You just include it in the pivot table and chart it out. So let me show you how to do that. I'll go ahead and just copy this data. Let me go and select all this data and do a Control-C, and then bring it over here to sheet 4. So you can either type Control-V to paste, or I'm just going to go ahead and, also another way to do it is to select the paste and just paste here. So you can see, notice that there's a hash mark. That basically says there's not enough room in this column width to display the values here. So I'm just going to double click that to automatically size it. Right? Now we can see our formulas also came over too, and basically it's the same formula. We're looking at the previous 3 months of data for the moving average. As it goes down, you can see that it changes. It goes up 1 month. So what I want to do here is actually take this table and turn it into a pivot table. So I want to take this table, I'll just select the table here, go into Insert, Pivot Table, and select Pivot Table here. And I'm going to put it into this sheet. I'm going to select Existing Worksheet. For location, I'm just going to select any arbitrary cell here. I'm going to select F6 and click OK. Now it has a pivot table entry here. There's a pivot table list. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the month in the row label and the sales in the values here and also in the values here. So what happens when I put the sales here is it'll sum it, and then basically it's only summing one number. So it's summing 250 and summing 220, and that's all we really need. For the 3-month moving average, it's doing a count. The second one, it counts it, but we really want it to sum it, and we want to just sum itself because we just want that value there. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and go to Value Field Settings and just select Sum. So once I select Sum, it will just pull back with that same data, 201. Since it moved it to several decimal places out, I'm going to go ahead and just adjust that. Click that and right click and go under Value Field Settings and go into this number format and go a number and just remove those, or just select 0 for the decimal places. Once I click OK, then it becomes an integer. So with this, let me go ahead and close this here and bring this in a little bit so I can see it. Now with this, what I want to do is create a pivot chart out of this. So this pivot table, I'm going to create a pivot chart out of it. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to have the column here. I'm going to click OK. And this is basically, I'm going to move this over here. This is basically almost the same thing as what I did in the other example. Now there's some things in the pivot chart that are a little bit different than a regular chart. You've got these fields where you can do some selection. I'm just going to go ahead and take that. I'm going to go right click and just hide the legend. I'm going to hide that value field. I'm going to keep this month, because what I basically want to do is be able to adjust that according to month. And we still have our columns here for our series of data, and I want to change that one, the red line, into a line chart. So I'll just select that, and I can just go ahead and click Change Chart Type, and I want it markers, so I'll select the line with markers here. So I click OK, and you can see it's turned into markers, although it's a little bit big. We can adjust that. So I'm just go ahead and select that, right click, and go ahead and select Format Data Series, go under the marker options, and go ahead and click the built-in. I think I liked the triangle. Select that and just reduce the size a little bit, and maybe reduce the line a little bit too. I had it on 1, so maybe one. I think it was 1.5. This chart's a little smaller, so I'll make it maybe 1.25. Click Close, and make this chart maybe a little bit bigger so we can see it a little bit better. So now you see that now we have the option. We have this month filter here. We have the option of changing it. Let's say we only wanted to show a couple months. We only wanted to throw June to December. June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So this gives us the option and some flexibility in choosing the months that we want to show in our 3-month moving average chart. So as before, if we want to do some formatting to change how the chart looks, we can change that. We can move this down here, and we can change the display type here, make it a little more beveled. We can do that. We can just change that, go under Layout, and put the legend at the bottom. And we can change the color here and go under Format and just change that to a nice bevel shape, and with the grid line, select that, press Delete. And I won't put the labels here, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about. So there's a couple ways that we can create a moving average chart. We have our moving average table, which I showed you earlier, which you can create with the average formula. And there's a couple ways that we can create a chart from that, either with the 3 columns, or if you just wanted to use the 2 columns and have the trending line created as a moving average, you can do it here. And if you wanted some flexibility in terms of selecting your months, you can do it here with a pivot table, as what we did. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos from me, click here to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and leave a comment below. I like to hear from you and hope to see the feedback. Also, do you think others might benefit from this video? If so, click the share text below. YouTube will automatically provide a shortened link to this video and give you options to share on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and other social networking sites. Again, thanks for watching.